Hello everyone. It's Teresa with Critters Crochet. Happy Tuesday. It is Tutorial Tuesday, and I thought it would be fun. I've had some people interested in learning how to make a hexagon cardie, and we're going to do a Granny Hexagon cardie. The picture that I have at the beginning of this for the thumbnail is actually it's a closed hexagon. But I wanted you to see what the look is, the shape is like. But for this tutorial, we're going to be doing the granny. And forgive my nails, y'all. It's time for a manicure, and just overlook my funky looking nails. But for this cardigan, I wanted, since it's getting into the springtime, I wanted to have some springtime fun colors, and something trending for this year in the spring and summer is tropical. So I found this Lion Brand mandala baby yarn that is absolutely gorgeous, and this is a DK weight. You can use any weight you want to, because in the description box I'm going to have a list of measurements that you can go by. So you can use any measurement, any yarn and hook size you want, just as long as you follow the measurements. So I'm going to be using this DK Lion Brand baby. It's 5.3 ounces, 150 grams, 590 yards. And for my measurements, I'm going to need about 4 of these cakes. It is a DK3 lightweight, and it is in the color, let me pull this up here. The color Narnia is the color. And so you'll need whatever amount of yarn. Like I said, that'll all be in the description box. You'll need a 5, if you're using a DK weight, you'll need a 5mm hook. I'm using my O-Fire 5mm hook. You'll need a measuring tape, because this is all about measurements. A pair of scissors, and I didn't bring it up here with me, but you'll need a tapestry needle to weave in your ends. Now, when you make this granny cardigan, you can use a variegated yarn like this, or you can swap out colors. Depending, and you can use as many colors as you want to change, but I do not like weaving in ends. So whatever I can do to minimize the amount of ends to weave in, I'm going to do it. So that's why I have chosen this variegated yarn, and I'm just going to let the yarn flow and just see how it comes out. This is, I didn't do this ahead of time to test it out. This is just, it's going to be what it's going to be as we go through the pattern. And I'm going to have this broke up into, I think it's going to take about 5 weeks to do this. So it's going to be kind of like a mini crochet along. So the first part is I'm going to show you how to do the body. The second part will be joining and putting a little bit on the back. And then the next part will be the sleeves. And then I will do a trim. So it's going to take 4 to 5 Tuesdays to get this together. So get your yarn, get your hook, and let's get started with me showing you how to make the hexagons for the body of this cardigan. And I'll be right back. Something I left out when I was telling you about the items that I'm using. Let me get this adjusted a little. For the trim around the sleeves and the body of the cardigan, I am using another DK. This is just a partial that I had, and I'm going to be using, this is called Stylecraft Special Double Knit. It's from Hirschner's, and this is what I'm going to be using for the cuffs on my sleeves and the trim around my cardigan. And so sorry about that I left that out. Be right back. All right, guys. Hey, I'm back, and we are starting with our hexagon. And I am doing I did a chain of 6. So that's where you're going to start. If you want to start with a magic ring, that's perfect. You can start with a magic ring. But I've decided I'm going to do a chain of 6. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to join in that first chain to make a ring. So we've got our ring here. And I'm going to chain 3. Now into the ring, we are going to put 2 double crochets. That chain of 3 counts as your first double. So 1, 2, So that's going to count with your chain and your 2 doubles. That's your first double crochet cluster. When I mention a cluster, I'm talking about 3 double crochets in the same space, okay? So after this, we're going to chain 2, and then you're going to put in 3 double crochets for your cluster. Let me get this yarn out of the way. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you're going to repeat that. Chain 2, 3 clusters, chain 2, 3 clusters until you have a total of 6 clusters in this ring, and I will see you at the end of this round. All right, guys, I have finished in the ring with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I just noticed a mistake. That happens. I forgot to chain 2 in between. You have to have a chain 2 in between each cluster. I forgot one. So let me go back in here. Whoops, I dropped a loop. Let me go back in here and get my 3 doubles put back in here. See, everybody makes mistakes, and mistakes are okay. They're easily fixed, so don't panic if you make a mistake. So again, I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clusters. I've chained 2, and now I'm going to join to the top of the beginning chain 3. Whoop, 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 whoop. Everything keeps slipping off my hook. Okay. So you've got your beginnings of your hexagon right here. This is going to be done very similar. If you're used to granny squares, this is going to be a piece of cake, because with a granny square, you did 4 clusters to begin. So to make a hexagon shape, we put in 6. And we're going to work it the same way we do a granny square, and you'll be able to see that. So once you've joined, you're going to turn, and you're going to slip stitch in that first space to the left of your hook, okay? So go in here and slip stitch. And we're going to do another chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This is going to count as our first double crochet again. And I didn't mention this before, but if you want to be able to close up the hole on this a little bit, you can. I just double crocheted over the top of that tail, and that's going to allow me to pull that and close in that hole a little bit more, but that's totally up to you. You can just weave the end in later. So we've got our chain 3, and in the same space to make our cluster, we're going to put 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we are going to go right in to, we're not going to do any chaining in between. We're going to go right into this next chain, and these are going to be our corners. We're going to be making corners. So for a corner, we're going to do 3 doubles. Whoops. Ah, come on, Teresa. Chain 2. And then 1, 2, 3 doubles. And that's going to be your corners. 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles, and that's going to make your corner. So what I want you to do, you're going to have 6 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in each of these spaces, I want you to put 3 double, chain 2, 3 double, and I'll meet you back at the end of this round. All right, guys, we are at the end of the second round, and I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I need to make this 6th corner. So we already have our chain and our 2 doubles to make 1 cluster. So we're going to go back into that same space where we started, and we're going to put 3 more doubles. So, behave, yarn. 1. You're going to see me with a few mistakes, so it's just me, guys. You're getting the real me here. Well, I guess if I had a little bit more tension on my, wouldn't be so bad. But we've got 3 more clusters now, and we're going to chain 2 to make that space in the corner. And then we're going to join 1, 2, 3 to the top of that chain 3 to make our corner. Okay? And here's your hexagon. We're starting to see that hexagon shape, okay? Starting to see it. Now, as you progress and get bigger, your hexagon may start to get a little wonky like this. It might start curling up. That's normal, and it's supposed to, so don't worry about it doing that. Okay, now on the third round, that's where if you're changing colors, you'll want to tie this off, fasten this off, and go ahead and change your color. But since I'm using the cake like this, we're just going to go with the flow. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn again, and I'm going to slip stitch into that space to the left. Oh, come on, Teresa. All right, we're going to slip stitch into that space, and we're going to, let me look here at my notes. I've got my notes to the side. I don't want to miss anything. Chain 3 again. That's our first double. All right, and then we're going to put 2 doubles in that same space. Get a little bit more yarn out of this cake here. Okay. And then we're going to skip over these 3 doubles right here, and into this space we're going to put a cluster. So we're going to put 3 doubles right here. Now this is where it gets to be just like a regular granny square. All right. You're going to put a cluster in the space between the corners, and then you're going to do a corner. So then you'll skip over and you'll come over to the corner and you'll do 3 doubles. 1. Come on. 2. 3. Chain 2. We're in a corner. You only chain 2 in the corners, guys. 3 doubles. 1. 2. That's better. I got a little bit better tension on my yarn. 3. So you've made a corner. So all the way around for round 3, I want you to 1 cluster, that's 3 doubles in the space between the corners, and then make your corner. So you're going to do a cluster, then a corner, a cluster, and then a corner, a cluster, and then a corner, and I'll meet you up at the end of round 3. All right, guys, we are back at the end of round 4. And you can see, remember I told you it was going to curl up a little bit? Mine's already starting to do that with this 4th round, and that is perfectly fine. And I failed to mention, if you're changing colors, I suggest you doing, you can do it any way you want to. You can do 2 rows and then change every 2 rows, or you can change every row. It's completely up to you how often you change colors. But what we're going to do here is we're back to the beginning, and we had the 1 cluster, and since this is a corner, guys, here's your corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So because this is a corner, we need to have another cluster in here. So we're going to do our 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got that a little close. And then you're going to go to the top of your chain 3, or nope, excuse me, chain 2. I forgot it again. We got to make our space in our corner. Then you're going to join to the top of your chain 3 with a slip stitch. Well, Teresa, if I can get my hands to work. There we go. And there's the end of row 4. So for round 5, I'm going to show this to you, but this is pretty much what you're going to do. You're going to turn, remember for each round, turn and slip stitch into that space, chain 3, and do your 2 doubles. 1, 2. All right. And then all you're doing now, this time you have 2 spaces in between. So those spaces are going to grow. The next round will have 3, 4, 5 as you go. Okay. So just remember, if it's easy for you, you can take stitch markers and put them in each of these 6 corners to help you remember that, okay, these are corners. I have to do 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Okay, so put your stitch markers in there. That's going to help you remember where your corners are. But if not, you do your clusters in the corner. You do 1 cluster, which is 3 doubles in each space, and then a corner. Okay, now you're going to continue that, continue that in rounds until you get the size of the hexagon that you want. All right, so I'll be right back. I want to explain one more thing to you, but I've got to do one more thing before I do that, so I'll be right back. All right, what I want to show you real quickly is you're going to keep that pattern going of the corners and then clusters in between the corners until you get the size that you want. And what I do is you take this, when you're getting ready to check the size, you can do the measurements, or what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up folding your cardigan like this, and it's going to give you this shape. Now it's going to be a better shape when it's bigger, but I'm just showing you on the short side. But what's going to happen is this is going to end up being the body, what's in front of your chest, and this will be the seam going across. This is the arm, and this will be the seam going across the top. So what you can do is you can hold this up on the front of yourself, on your chest, and you can get a good idea of the size that you want. You can either hold it up to you and keep going until it's the right size, or like I said, I have the measurements in the description box that will help you decide how big your cardigan needs to be. So remember again, let me show you this one more time. You're going to continue with with your 3 clusters, chain 2, 3 in the corners, and your 3 double crochet clusters in the middle. And usually for my size, I'm an extra large. So usually when I make one of these, it takes about 18 to 20 rounds to get the size that I need for an extra large. So just kind of keep that in mind. What I want you to do is I want you to work on this hexagon. You're going to make 2 of these. You're going to make 2 panels the same size. All right. And then when we get those done, we're going to sew them together. So by next Tuesday, I will have both panels finished. If you don't get that far, that's fine. These videos will be here for you to use and view as you can. But I'm going to work on my 2 panels. If you're changing colors, I would do it as an assembly. I would do my first 2 rows or however many rows in one color and do the same thing twice. Switch to your another color, second color. Whatever you do with that second color, do it twice and work on both at the same time. But since I'm using a cake and it's the variegated, I'm just going to continue with this panel and then start a second one. So by next Tuesday, you need to have your 2 panels finished. Well, at least I am. By next Tuesday, I will have the 2 panels finished. And so next Tuesday, I will be showing you how to fold and seam your cardigan to get started on putting this together and then doing the finishing touches. So come and see me next Tuesday. If you have any questions about constructing this cardigan and this hexagon, I'll get it right in a minute, let me know in the comments, or you can email me. I'll be glad to answer your questions, and I hope you have fun making this. This is one of those mindless things where you can just sit at your watching TV or watching YouTube and just work on these. So finish your 2 cardigans, and I will see you back here again next Tuesday for part 2 of our Granny Hexagon Cardi.